It's the Authentic Empress here again. So, you guys are definitely masters of unpredictability, okay? You're moving very unpredictable, and there's something significant about people never really having you figured out, but a desperation to want to figure you out, okay? And people misunderstanding and even trying to take advantage of your loyalty, okay? You have Knight of Cups, ally. So there was definitely some people dependent or codependent on your friendliness. But what I'm getting from that is you provided conditions for them to safely do so. Not only were you an ally or friends, whoever this is, or these people, but your consistency is why they were able to even grow this dependence on you or rely on you, so to speak. But there's something about energies who were unreliable in return, okay? You mirroring or matching. Some of you guys started matching this unreliability, this inconsistency, this inconsideration, or let's just say the amount of energy given. You guys started matching that, and then you either did that and or completely pulled your energy back or away. And it's because it's almost like, well, I can just pour this energy into something else, where I know I'm going to receive with consistency back in return. Whether this is turning that energy back within yourself or towards things, projects, or new people and situations. So you have the Empress, okay? The XC Queen. So you got Knight of Cups and the Empress. So Knight of Cups oftentimes talks about an apology, okay? Someone wanting to mend something. So someone wants to mend something with an Empress, or there's something about people who have grown codependent on you mending things, you fixing things, you transmuting things for them, things that they mess up or they come in, and half heart and stuff like that. Okay, and you're not doing that anymore. Okay, you got burnt out. So it's giving. There's this scene. There was a snippet on YouTube of this mom. I can't think what the movie is, but the little boy, he was acting like he couldn't do something that he actually could do. And she was one of those moms that if he cry and kick and stuff, she's just gonna do it for him. But she resisted and she kind of just withheld from interacting. And so he did it himself. And I want to say the little boy was blind, maybe. So there's something about your natural motherly, maternal, nurturing energy, because you are able to see something for what it is or have this level of foresight and insight, okay, even dreams, psychic abilities, whatever the case may be. That doesn't mean that just because you have these skills and these abilities, these gifts, that you're supposed to keep giving it to someone who, yes, they benefit from it, but they don't allow it to remain beneficial because they recreate the same conditions that basically, at the end of it all, what you gave to help them in a situation, they chose to be a waster with that energy. They chose to waste that energy And so now there's no gain from that, no positive gain anyway, especially for you. Okay, not saying that you're looking. It's like if you plant seeds in a garden, you're hoping to get that fruit or that vegetable. Okay, you have inner work here, 8 of Cups. I love that this 8 of Cups card in this deck says inner work because it's confirmation. The Empress is burnt out. Okay, you can be an ally. You've been an ally, but that doesn't mean that you're supposed to just fix a person or fix their problems that they just keep recreating or keep putting themselves or keep themselves in situations and arrangements to, you know what I'm saying? And then expect you to pour of yourself when they can't pour into you, but pour of yourself into them on the same ass shit. And it's like, it's just wasteful. So then that will be irresponsible for you. And in a way, it's almost taken away from where that energy could have gone. So even if you are like this fountain like energy, that doesn't mean that you're this manifesting generator. You're constantly generating energy just to waste it. Okay? And if it is going to turn out to be wasteful, you got can't even with the 10 of Swords. See, even if it does turn out to be wasteful, at least I feel like it would just be a better risk to pour your energy into something you genuinely want to pour into. Okay, so I'm getting that different ways. So some of you guys could be or could have found peace in the fact that even if you realize you were wasting your energy investment in anything or anybody, for that time being or for the moment, you genuinely wanted to invest energy in that person, place, or thing. I seen this video about consent violation, and I may post it on here as a short. The guy was talking about the difference between cheating and consent violation. Somebody violating your consent. Somebody not, being truthful and honest, okay, from the get-go. Okay, so you can make a conscious decision, right? So causing you to participate in something without your consent because you don't have the full information on what's going on. Okay? But you have the Magician and the Tech Visionary. Confusion is an answer within itself. You got 2 of Swords. To be honest, I don't know. With this Empress energy here, you're either going to have clarity or you're going to be met with confusion. And confusion is an answer. Confusion is an answer. If somebody shows up to you, or if you show up in an energy that provides clarity and they respond to you with confusion, that's an answer within itself. Yeah, so I'm going to close out. I'm going to close out because it just got loud out of nowhere. So I'm just going to leave you with this, right? The Empress, right? If you realize that your energy is exclusive, if you realize that not just anybody can really take your energy, and you're an acquired taste type of vibe, meaning it's giving like the 12 disciples and then the masses of people. Like, your people is going to be like a fine tuned select group. So you're breaking away from traditions of feeling like you have to include people in your personal life. And it's like, for what? If you know there are people who are watching to compete with you more often than not, why even give them something to feel like they can compete with? Especially in terms of like it, social media, heavy use on social media. Like, I remember when I graduated college, I didn't post any pictures for real about when I graduated. It wasn't something I was really announcing like that. And that was because I didn't want no fake ass support. Like, however people was moving with me before they see me obtain some type of achievement and stuff like that, I wanted them to keep that same energy. Give me a moment, please. So, anyway, I know there was people expecting me to like post stuff or whatever for my birthday, but it's like, for what? You know, there was people who I knew were not going to celebrate me. There was people who didn't want me to be celebrated. There's some of those same people who are constantly watching me, obsessively watching me, where they can see me, which would be social media. You get what I'm saying? And so it's like, it's none of your business. It's nobody's business. The person or whatever energies who are actively in my life in real time, that's who I'm going to spend that with. You get what I'm saying? And I just feel like posting anything on here, it's like, what's the real purpose of me doing that? I didn't really look for anybody to celebrate me. I didn't look for nobody to do anything for me, get anything for me. Because again, like, the way that my path has been, like, people have intentionally not celebrate me, okay? Not give to me. And so, yeah, like, it's just, I'm just in this energy now where it's like, I'm very content with it. And I know that I'm going to align with people who are like me as well, who are going to do that. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, I'm just not really here for fake shit. Like, I just don't want, I don't have any attraction towards any type of fake ass energy or interaction. Like, I just don't. And so, yeah. Yeah, that's how I feel about it. I don't feel like I need to prove anything to anybody for real, except for that the divine is real and that you can overcome any and everything through the divine. I feel like that's all I need to prove. But you can, okay. Um. Anyway, but yeah, and keeping things more private, especially from environments where I know there's predators, okay, energetic predators lurking, and intentionally keeping them out of shit. Like, that's just the vibes. Like, that's just the vibes now, like, moving forward. And I'm content with that. I am only responsible for using my experiences or being a vessel, a messenger, saying the things that the divine or people's ancestors want them to hear at that moment, and being an example. You know what I'm saying? But that doesn't mean I have to include people in my personal fucking life, you know, who I know. And of course, not everybody, but there is a portion of people who wishes ill will on me, you know. So, burnt out energy. I'm just not putting myself, I'm not making it easy for people who target me to insert their swords in me. I'm trying to figure out like a better way to communicate that. Hmm. It's almost like stepping into like a new era or like a higher level of authenticity, you know? Yeah. Because I feel like if people genuinely fuck with you for real, it shouldn't take for you to post anything. They should just find a way to connect with you, find a way to contact you, and reach out to you. Which there were some people who did that. There were some who didn't. Um, and that's just that. And I like it better that way. I think it's much more honest that way. When people think of you all by themselves, okay? Not because you remind them of an important date or an important moment or important time, but because they genuinely, sincerely want to. Because they all by themselves thought about you. You know what I'm saying? I rather create conditions where I can ensure that the engagement and the interactions and how my time is spent is authentic. Okay, is genuine, is sincere, is secure. Okay, and it kind of helps weed out the the illusions. Mhm. Yeah. I may do another video. I may not. I may not. Because unpredictability is the vibes. That's the vibes. Um, confusing the enemy is the vibes. For sure. Um, using their tactic on themselves, like using their tactic on them is the vibes. People who felt like they were leaving you to fend for yourself through conditions that they helped exaggerate for you, like things that you otherwise wouldn't experience if they didn't try to manipulate the energy. And the backfires from that, you know, that energy returning, I'm leaving those people to fend for themselves. Like, that's the vibes, you know. I'm very content with that. I did it without any of them. They can do it without me. And then if you even look at it in a way that there's some people who actually wanted you to be taken out, okay, whether that be you losing your mind and so you're taken out, you losing your life and so you're taken out, you losing your dignity and so you're taken out. So just like in a way give them what they want without giving them what they want. You know? Give them what they want, as in removing yourself from them, removing all access of you from them, but still showing up, alchemizing and transmuting the energy, which is that's the thing they didn't want you to do. That's what they don't want you to do. Like still overcoming it, what they don't want, but just blocking them out completely. Those are the vibes. Those are the vibes. Like accepting that they're choosing to be absent in your life, and let them, like, allow them to be absent, and just realize, well, if they're absent, if there's nobody there, then what exactly are you showing up to if they're not showing up? If they're not showing up, what are you supposed to be showing up to? You don't show up either. You show up with who shows up for you only. That's the vibes. That's how it's supposed to be. Yeah. So, and it's crazy how this is meant to, like, I don't know why I hear the word pulverize. This is meant to diminish something about you, cause you to deteriorate internally, but it's actually happening within them. The fact that you're accepting it, like you're accepting their absence, okay, and responding with your absence. But these are people who wanting you to seek their validation, seek their attention, seek their approval, seek their acknowledgement. Okay, wanted you to make some type of plea that you deserve for them to show gratitude to what you did provide. Okay, how you did show up. No, like, no, why? No, no, no. If the teacher is absent from the class, you there's nothing to show up to, but you still have your books, you still have access to the information. You get what I'm saying? So you still can do the work. Like, that's the vibes. That's the vibes. Hence why you would still be the Empress, being the Empress energy. Yeah. So you're allowing what you know and what they made even simpler for you to know about yourself. Like, you're leading with that knowledge of self, as in, I vibrate on the Empress energy. Like, I bring growth to what they bring me. I have a way of multiplying what they bring me, of nurturing what they present to me. So if they are bringing me absence, emotional unavailability, inconsistency, or lack of presence, whatever, lack of effort, then I'm going to match that. Not even match it. I'm going to multiply it, match it, grow that. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to nurture that. Like, those are the vibes. Yeah. And it's almost like intentionally and unintentionally. Because think about, for people who are creating situations that will hurt you in any way, shape, or form, okay, or that's meant to defeat you or cause you to submit, and then you multiply it, right? Knowing that the energy is going to already return, because we had the Magician card come out for this particular video. We had the Empress, the Two of Cups, the Eight of Cups, and Two of Swords, and the Magician, right? So, yeah, like, just like I mentioned about the mom, where her son became very codependent on her over giving and overdoing for him because he was efficient. Like, for example, his sight. He didn't have his sight. But because she didn't help him, he figured it out on his own. And that's something that she had to do, like, because doing the same thing, like constantly doing it for him, he was not learning it for himself. Like, he just kept being codependent and reliable on her. So I'm telling y'all, those are the vibes. Like, that's the energy. That's the energy. And yeah, I don't need to prove nothing to none of these motherfuckers. Like, y'all don't need to see in no way, shape, or form on no type of platform what the fuck going on in my personal life. It's none of y'all business. Y'all didn't want it to be y'all business. Y'all didn't want it to be a thing. Y'all didn't want me to be capable. You didn't want it to manifest. You get what I'm saying? So why provide any means for you to see into what the fuck I got going on? That's how I feel about that. So it's like, say what you want to say. Create whatever narratives you feel like you need to create. God don't give a damn about none of it. My ancestors don't give a damn about none of it. Like, it doesn't actually apply to me. And I don't need to show, boast, prove, provide any type of proof or nothing to nobody who don't really fuck with me for real. Like, I'm completely content with just leaving y'all with whatever imagination that you're choosing to embrace about me. Hey, at least you're using your imagination. At least you're using your imagination. That's how I feel about it. But yeah, like, and it feels, you know what it is? It's like having control. Um, Taking control of the situation. Like, that's what it is. That's what it is. When you revoke, when you learn the enemy's means of gaining access and you completely revoke that, that's how you like retake control over the situation, over the dynamic, no matter what it is. Yeah, and I love it here. I love it. Um, an easy guide that I go by is whatever a multitude of people, whatever they're doing, whatever a multitude of people are doing, I'm not gonna do that. I'm just not gonna do that. So if it's the norm to do a thing, I'm gonna do the complete opposite. Basically, like if the norm is, for example, my birthday, right? My birthday was yesterday. If the norm is, oh, birthday pics, oh, show us what you did, show us where you went, show us what you got. Why? I don't talk to none of y'all for real. Like, if I don't talk to you like real time, like we don't really have a real life connection, it's like, why do I need to do that? Like, who am I doing that for? Who is it for? Who is it for? Like, I just really want to understand that. Um, so yeah. And that's with any and everything else. Like, there's people who wanted me to um prove, okay, the success of, you know, what I do for work and stuff like that. For why? For who? I got my clientele. Okay, my clients love what I provide. Um, God approves of what I do. Okay, um, my ancestors have eyes on it. Okay, people whom I don't know, for whatever reason that may come up, or that may be a thing of discussion. Sure, but I don't know. I guess I should call it like unplugging, like unplugging from the social expectation. Because for what? Like when I was going through those storms by myself, you get what I'm saying? I'm not understanding why when there's rainbows and gold and shit, why should, like, who am I supposed to be showing that to? Like, why would I be showing that to somebody who was not there with me through the storm? I don't know. I don't get that. It's almost like if somebody got ear that you're going to show up somewhere, or they're hoping that you just may show up somewhere, and they show up there with the plan and the hopes to outdo you or show you out, but then you don't even show up, then what? They're showing up with the intention to compete with you, but then you choose not to show up, then what? Now what? And then it's not like a real empress, a real high priestess, a real emperor. You're not gonna give a fuck about whatever narrative they come up with for you not showing up. You don't care about that, so they can't get energy that way. So leave them with nothing. Leave them with their imaginations. Leave them with their group of gossipers and, you know, their fellow gang stalkers and others who are envious, all for it to be inevitable for somebody, a rational mind in the environment, to take a step back and be like, you know what? This feel weird. Like this feel like some hating ass shit. And that's the point. That's the point. Yeah. So, like, what are y'all trying to get out of this? Like, what are y'all looking for? Like, this person is not even participating. That's the point. That's the point. Um, Remove the ability for them to see. Here's a very powerful thing as well. You know how that energy of competing for spotlight, okay, competing to be the main character, the center of attention, or people who want the main role, okay, and some people are willing to go great lengths to have that main role, okay, or be that main character. Just let them have it. Let them have whatever they think that is, and see how that plays out for them. um it's almost like a person who actually learns the character, they learn the role, they study the script, they study the movie, they learn all about the character that they're playing and immerse themselves. You know, they do all this studying, okay, behind the scenes. And then you have that person who also wants that role, who's more hell bent on getting the role. Like, what can I do to achieve roles? So let me fuck this person. Let me suck this person. Let me do this. Let me do that. Let me do. Look at me. Let me pay this person. Let me bribe this person. Let me bully this person. Like, they're so focused on doing all of that to get the spotlight, and then boom, they get the spotlight, or you let them have it, but they're unprepared for that role. They're unprepared for that spotlight. They're inexperienced. This is even giving like energy to try to make it seem like who you are was like you was copying them, like them trying to claim who you are, like that destiny swap shit. Them trying to claim your identity, how you are, who you are, okay, and make it seem like you're the fake, you're the fry, you're the one that's copying them. You got it from them, and then you just unplug. Like, just let them have the moment, let them have it, and just let them try to be you. It's inevitable that they're going to fail terribly at that. Because it's like, okay, you did all this to get the attention off this person who naturally attract the attention. Just to get the attention on you. Now the attention is on you. Okay, what? Like, where's the depth? Like, what are we waiting for? What are we look? Is there anything to look forward to? Like, no substance, no substance, no depth, no wisdom, nothing worth like there's no true exploration. And it's so crazy how I'm even hearing like people trying to compete with your life with extravagant things, right? Externally. But when it comes to your internal world, they're shallow as a, it's given your like this huge like ocean resort island big cool shit, you know, that you see externally. That's who you are internally, and then them internally is just a little river with some rocks. You know what I'm saying? I'm not knocking that. There's beauty in that too. Okay, it's no. I'll take that back. There's this giving a man-made lake. Like, that's what it's giving. You know, whereas with you, there's always more to explore when it comes to you internally, like who you are. There's always more to the Empress. The Empress. Huh. Hmm. Sheesh. I love the divine because lately, like the last few times I've been getting on here, I just get on here and I just channel. I just channel. Um, at least like the last few videos. Um, I guess I should go here and talk about a dream that I had. I had this dream um a few nights ago, and it was so odd that I had this dream about these particular people, y'all. But anyway, these two people who called themselves trying to be uh like the headlines. They was trying to make headlines in my energy. Okay. Um, it's so crazy. In the dream, both of them were laying down on a couch, like, and the way that they were laying on the couch is like, it was like feet and head. So one person is laying at one end, the other person is laying at the other end, and their feet is at each other's head. Right? That's how they were laying on this couch. I showed up somehow, and the guy, it was a guy and a girl. The guy whom I used to talk to, he gets up and like follows me or like try to separate himself and whatever and attach himself to me, because I saw them, right? And I remember we went somewhere. It was almost like a school, and there was some type of function going on, like a party or something. And but the people at the school, it's almost like I knew them or I were more familiar. I knew the people at the school. It kind of reminded me of those old like little dance socials that we would have like in middle school. Like that was kind of the vibes. And I remember like me and him we were walking together, but my attention was more drawn to like, like the function and like my old friends like from school and shit, like, on some catching up shit. And so I went in the building like just to speak. Like, I didn't even intend on really staying, but my attention wasn't really on him. Mind you, he was just laying with another woman type shit. So I went in there and I remember on some play shit, some playful shit. Like I had like dance. I don't know if it was like walk it out. I don't know what we did, but I did some type of dance with them, like just vibing, right? And I was like, wait, I'll be right back. And when I went back outside, he was gone. Like it was just nobody was outside, just darkness and cars. Like he was gone, and that was the end of the dream. And I was just like, oh well, like that was the vibes. Like the vibes was like, oh well, but I knew that it's almost like I had got like some type of portion that the reason he was gone, it was almost like she snatched him back up, like she snatched him from there, and that's why he was gone. And it was like, okay, like it was already this energy of like, well, like what exactly was I supposed to expect? Like what was I supposed to expect for real? Now, the energy I did pick up on was obviously some energy manipulation in order for all that to happen. Even like this little bait and switch energy, like it was supposed to reopen a wound or trigger something. So like there's definitely people who's been trying to reopen a wound. Okay, that's healing. Okay, whether they like it or not, or something that you're healing, something that's healing about you, that they're not particularly fond with, and it has everything to do with what they feel like is going to be revoked from them from you healing. Like if you heal from whatever this is, or if you heal from me, if this is pertaining to a toxic arrangement situation, a person, a third party, it's almost like they can't, it's like trying to get your attention back on something, trying to reopen the wound in order to drain from you, in order to even be so let's get back to the analogy that we use, to be relevant. Why is this giving like different movies and stuff? We got writers and different movies. Some movies be hitting, some movies don't. Some movies, become legendary, or like they get they win awards and shit, and some it's kind of flat. It's alright, right? And you have some that are just more um preferred. Like, I wish I can compare two movies. Um, hmm, like, would you want to roll in? I'm trying to find a good comparison. Would you prefer a role in Waiting to Exhale with Whitney Houston, or hmm, Love Don't Cost a Thing? I don't know. Like, these are people. These are people who they wanted to be associated with your main character energy, um, for what they feel like they could gain from that. Because it's given that even if they felt like they achieved something that was just as good, or something that they could use to compete, okay, to attract, to gain from, it's not Waiting to Exhale. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not, y'all know all the stars in that movie. Like, it's not that, okay? Like, it's some Nick Cannon shit that they and you consider how everything aged over time. How he aged over time. And, everything else, like Angela Bassett. And so, I don't know, like, was that a good example? Like, maybe that wasn't a good example. But, yeah, nah, yeah. Like, genuinely enjoy your life type vibes, opposed to um feeling like in order to enjoy the moment that much more, you need people to envy that moment. Like, you need to show highlights and receive some type of accolades, or some type of validation, or some type of approval, in order to feel like you really, really, really are enjoying the moment. Like, no, like, sincerely enjoy the moments without feeling like you need to use that to be approved, or to be put above, or feel like you're above people. So yeah, like, there was this very brief and very unique and personal experience that I had, and someone, and it was reasonable, they asked that, like, it made sense for them to ask that, but they asked, they basically said, oh, you should take a picture of that. And I was like, yeah, but I was kind of just, in the moment, so whatever. But yeah, it was definitely a photographic moment type of thing. But I don't know, it's almost like kind of going back to a time where everything wasn't, oh, you just need to pull out your phone every time, like, just really log it into your mind, into your nervous system. You know what I'm saying? Like, really be present. So those are the vibes. Speaking for myself, those are the vibes that I'm in, and I'm also protective over myself. I'm protective over my life, my vibes, my experiences, my energy. Um, because I'm just personally, I'm not a stranger to people doing weird shit over my videos, over my pictures, okay, over what they think I'm going on, or trying to send stuff my way and stuff. So it's like, I just rather keep, or just rather be more responsible with what people may, what I may be unintentionally giving people access to. You know what I'm saying? That's enviously watching me, or that's watching me out of, some type of place of envy and stuff like that. Like, I'd rather move in a way that's going to expose their lunacy. Like, I'd rather move in a way that's going to expose their obsession. And what I mean by that is, again, heavy emphasis on being or embracing unpredictability. And because I feel like divine beings are naturally unpredictable, we're naturally mysterious because we're fearfully and wonderfully made. And people confuse our honesty, our straightforwardness, our truthfulness, our authenticity. Like, people confuse that with us being predictable or easy to figure out, okay, easy to plan around, okay, when that's not the case at all. At any time, at any time, with that clarity and the truth that we have access to, it's almost like playing chess, right? We can be very unpredictable in a way that goes over our enemies. It goes over their heads, okay? So, yeah, when you're in that realm of learning patterns of expectancy, okay, just in the culture, you can use that to your advantage and play against that, you know? And that's what I'm doing. That's how I've been moving. And it's a very pleasant energy to work with. Yeah. Like, there's a person in the chat, I can use them as a perfect example. Billions of people in the world and millions of people on social media and on YouTube. Multiple live streams going on right now. And this person commented and said, okay, okay, maybe I read that wrong, but anyway, I thought it said I don't care, or how dismissive people tend to be, when people move in a way where they feel like people are disposable and stuff like that. Not saying that you need to belittle people, because that's not what we do, but that should be all the more proof of understanding that, hey, when it comes to sharing your personal life, like, I mean, like, photos and stuff like that, like, who is it really for? And considering the risk of people who intentionally do try to invade your energy. And don't get me wrong, higher beings, we know how to seal our photos and our videos, to protect or ward against the energy so it directly, returns to sender. Absolutely. So, yeah. The divine is going to do that anyway. But still, like, when you just retreat from that, like, it's one thing of who you are, especially, let's just use social media as an example. It's one thing, who you are and how you are on social media. It's another thing, like, what's the real tea outside of this? Are you somebody who's generally it's you're generally by yourself. Like, you go out and, yeah, you experience people and you interact and engage, absolutely, but are you mostly, just kind of lone wolfing it? And if you are, you know, even if you take photos, in significant moments that you experience in life, do you keep photos, like, do you take photos, like, just to reflect on for yourself, or show, like, in your intimate settings or intimate groups or intimate connections? Like, is that a thing? Because it's a thing over here. It's a thing. And so, yeah, it's this, I don't know, I just get this energy of people expecting Empress energies to, like, compete with the show that they're putting on to the world. Like, people who are performative, attention seeking, trying to prove something to others through their social media, like, wanting the person that they envy to compete with them by putting on a show of their own. Okay? And it's supposed to be like an underhanded, subliminal competition or some shit, or like, no, like, you are. I refuse to participate. I just refuse to participate in that. And for them, they hope and assume that it would be a win-win situation if I don't show anything. But it's the win-win is for the divine being, not so much the karmic or the toxic being. Okay, like, they're hoping or assuming that it will be. So, for example, when we retreat, okay, when we become even more mysterious, see, here's the thing: we're already mysterious. So when you multiply your mysteriousness, you know what I'm saying? You're already fearfully and wonderfully made. So when you really show that in full capacity, that energy itself, you being mysterious and whatever, unpredictable, that's a very, like, seductive trait for a divine being, as it is. Okay, how you naturally pique people's curiosity because you're that way. So when you kind of capitalize off that, like, you multiply that energy to the girl or the guy competing with you, who's hoping or thinking that because you're showing less, or you're not showing up as much, and they are, or you're not showing, like, big extravagant shit, they feel like that's a win, that's a dub, that's a win-win for them in comparison. But it actually exposes the underlying currents of that, like, the undercurrents of that is what it actually exposed. Like, why do you obsessively and excessively feel like you need to prove something to strangers? That's what it boils down to. Like, what are these people really doing in order to gain exclusive access to you, to your life? You know? I just feel like it's easier to access peasants than it is an empress. That's at the top of the castle. Yeah, okay. Um, and so that's the vibes. Like, it's easier to get access to the manager than it is the CEO. Like, it's easier to get access to the employee than it is, the boss. Okay, there may be some loops you need to get through in order to talk to the CEO or the owner or the founder, opposed to talking to the assistant or the employee or the manager or the supervisor, right? And that's how you should treat your energy, period. Like, That's the energy we already embody. I think because we genuinely are compassionate beings, considerate, caring beings. Some people just confuse that energy about us, and they think that they're going to manipulate our energy against ourselves. And so when they see us in, like, fully enact embodying that energy, um yeah, it's very problematic for them. But hey, if the goal is to compete with you, right, or to prove that you're competing with them, let's see how they solve their way through those problems, or you apparently arousing that problematic energy. Let's see how they solve themselves through that, especially if you're somebody who's generally solution based or problem solver. Okay. You're the dreamer, you're the prophetic dreamer or visionary. Yeah, you're somebody who's, very much so aware. Okay, very much so present sensually, like when it comes to your senses and your clairs. Let's see what they maneuver with very little information, just like they try to use that tactic against us. And honestly, for us, we have the information ahead of time. Before these things spring up, I shall tell you them, is what the divine said. That's the promise of your intuition and your discernment. So we'll have it, right? And so then, they'll try to narrate or be these authors of confusion, okay, or provide obscurity or very little information in hopes that that would cause us to doubt what we already know, or confuse us within our own discernment and knowledge and understanding. And it's really a projection of the fact that they don't understand us. They're confused about us. That's really what that is. Okay. And it's that energy of trying to fish. It's like they try to fish for information about you, or try to get you to reveal more about you, like almost like to affirm that energy of you're not somebody to mess with or play with. Like, you gotta be careful with that too. Like, people who want to trigger you into that energy of, oh, well, I'm not, like, go on these rants and stuff. I'm not just anybody. I'm not the one to play with. Da 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 da. I'm this. I'm that. I got this. I do this. I do that. I have this. I have that. That's what they be hoping for. They want you to reveal all that you have, all that you got. You know what I'm saying? All that you are. And it's like, no. You can keep, obsessively watching, stalking, studying to try and figure that out. And just confuse yourself even more, because you're already moving out of devil energy in the first place. You're already moving with ill intentions in the first place. Okay? So allow your enemies to only further confuse themselves, only further deplete themselves, only further exhaust themselves, destroy themselves, rob themselves out of your life. Because this was going on. If you don't provide access of how they can still kill and destroy you, and you starve them instead, they will ultimately still kill and destroy themselves or one another. That's how it always goes. I feel like I should pull a card about this. I feel like I should pull a card on that. Like, 6 of Wands. Sorry, not sorry. Confirmation. Boy, look at this. Is that not confirmation? You got 6 of Wands, Is that wands or swords? Yeah, 6 of wands. Squad goals. Sorry, not sorry. 7 of swords. And lockdown. 8 of swords. And it fell on the floor. God. Damn. Mm-mm. And even with this, like, he's holding his hand up, like, yeah, nah. Yeah, nah, I'm good. That is crazy. Mm-mm. Well, y'all, the 8 of swords done fell on the floor. Damn. 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 Yeah, like, I'm even hearing, like, let's let all the work that they put in to figure you out, okay, to define who you are, let's see, if they reach the conclusion that they've been working toward. Since you know the divine being, you know the collective so bad, you know whatever outcome is going to be. I mean, let's see if all the work, all the energy that you conjured, all the gossip, all the slander, let's see, okay? Let's see if there's some type of benefit that you gain from that. Let's see what you do with that. Let's just wait and see. Let's just see how that goes. Okay? Yeah, because these people are clearly blind. Um and I was even hearing that the other day. So the blind leading the blind, right? Because that's ultimately what this is. You got people who are spiritually conflicted, emotionally disturbed, mentally ill, leading others into those same disturbances, illnesses, and confliction. Okay? And even going back to that example with the mother and the little boy who was blind or doesn't have his sight, there's that side of things where the blind leads the blind, and then there's that side of things where the seer leads the blind. Okay? The visionary, the person who has vision, the person who can see, who leads the blind to wherever they need to go. Okay? And this is what we do. We do this. It's like we confirm and clarify to other seers and others of us who can see. We identify and highlight blind spots in those of us who can see for one another. And we always take that to lead somebody who is blind in whatever area of their lives towards sight. Okay? So again, the mom retreating her helping hand for that little boy after already showing him the way so many times before. That's the energy that the Empress, that's a level of energy that the Empress embodies. Okay? Depending on the situation, depending on the person. And that's the energy that a lot of the Empress, that's the energy that we're in. It's like we had the conversations, we gave the patience, we were reliable, okay, we allowed them to depend on us, we showed that consistency, okay, and then that time came where we had to revoke that so they can figure it out themselves, just like in many ways we figure things out ourselves, okay, through the divine. And so they can choose to remain stuck in karmic cycles, or they can choose better for themselves, okay, without feeling like that better for themselves is just being codependent on a person who's choosing better for themselves, okay. But it's something that everybody must master on their own, or everybody should master on their own. Mm-hmm. So your energy could be coming off as unrecognizable to some people. Okay, you got new career who this, and this new career who this is not literally a job. It could be to an extent, but what I'm picking up from this, with this Eight of Swords here, and this being the Two of Wands, what I'm getting from this is that career of constantly freeing people like from their self-inflicting imprisonment. Like, you've chosen a new career path from doing that. It's like, yeah, nah, I showed you how to do it. So now the career is like, okay, I have to move on. Like, I showed you how to free yourself. I'm actively showing you how to do that. So this is even giving, like, instead of doing it for you, I'm just gonna show you. Like, that's the career shift. I'm gonna just show you instead of doing it for you. New career who it is. So they be like, this is not how you was. This is not what it was. Yeah, because you're just gonna remain stagnant if it remains that way. And I'm not stagnant, and I didn't sign up to be stagnant with you. So I don't even remember the words of that Love Lockdown song, but that's what I'm hearing. Yeah, because the understanding, the solution is definitely within reach for these people. Because let's analyze this card. You see how she's blindfolded? There's a croissant on the table, and also tomatoes, right? It's easy, even with that blindfold on, to touch this croissant, feel this croissant, okay, and these tomatoes, and figure out that these are tomatoes and this is a croissant, even while you're blindfolded. It's easy to do that. So them being blind is not the excuse. You have other senses that you can apply. You know how when a person is void of one sense, it's like they're stronger in others. And I've experienced it in real time through a family member. Like, if a person is deaf, like, they may have like a more keen sight or more keen spiritual gifts and abilities or skills. Same thing, if a person is blind, they may be more keen in other areas of their senses, or other senses are heightened. So somebody being blind or even choosing to be blind is not an excuse. God damn. Because they can free themselves from that blindness. Like, you can feel your way through. Like, it's given, like, feel your way, sense your way through the situation. Yeah. Because Divine Collective got shit to do. They got shit to tell. Okay. Mm-hmm. Burnt out. And Sugar Daddy. Hey, you see what I'm saying, bro? King of Pentacles. Self-care. Well, in conclusion, this is you, just pouring that energy into yourself, okay? Pouring that energy into yourself. So I will also close out with saying, like, there's some people who's coming to terms with how you were, who you showed up as when you were pouring into them, compared to who you are now when you're not. Meaning, you're keeping that energy to yourself or pouring that energy into yourself. What was being poured into them, and it's almost like you're just this new, this totally new version of yourself to them. Okay, yeah, because they're comparing two totally different aspects, just two totally different people all in one. I don't know if that makes sense, but pouring somewhere where you're not being poured back into, compared to only pouring into where you are being poured into, and also just keeping more of that energy into yourself instead of wasting it. It's like, yes, your energy is totally different. It's always been whenever you've done that. This is nothing new. It's nothing new. It's new to them, but it's not new to you. Yeah. If anything, we're grounded here now. Like, we're grounded in this energy. We're steadfast in this energy. There's no wavering. Okay. There's no being tricked, manipulated, love bomb out of it. No, like, we're grounded in this energy now. That's the only difference. It's not something that is that we haven't already embodied back and forth. But there's no more of that back and forth. Like, we're in it type shit. Emphasis on new career. Who it is? Career is something that's long. It's a long term investment. All right, y'all.